Hey my fellow ink drinkers, welcome back to my channel. I'm Em, and I love to read, watch movies, listen to music, write, all the things that can be done by myself, or perhaps with a buddy every now and then. So you have landed on another episode of Last Current Next, where I talk about what I read and watched last month, what I'm currently reading, possibly currently watching, if I'm watching any shows, I am, and what I hope to read in the coming month. So let's dive right in, because my voice is trying to disappear. I think I'm still recovering from the wildfire smoke. I'm telling you, it affected me more deeply than I thought. Or I'm coming down with something, which we're really hoping is not the case. I did not read a whole lot in the month of July. We had a lot going on outside the house, so not a lot to share in this department, but what I have to share is great. So the first book that I finished in the month of July was The Burial Plot by Elizabeth Macneal. And I talked to no end about this in a vlog, so if you want to know more about it, check the vlog out. Not to brush past it because it's an excellent read, but my voice, it's not cooperating. The second book that I finished was a Carnival horror anthology called Welcome to the Funhouse, and I absolutely loved this. I believe it's still available in paperback on Amazon, but I don't know that the publishing company still exists. That's up in the air. I have no idea, but I really enjoyed this. It was the perfect summertime read, and I highly recommend if you can find yourself a copy. This has been on my Kindle for a really long time, so I'm glad I finally got to it. This anthology was edited by Kelly Brocklehurst and Jamie Stewart. Jamie Stewart is one of my favorite authors. I love him. He has a Carnival horror book of his own, so check it out. The movies I watched. We're not going to go over all the movies I watched. We're just going to talk about my favorites. So I watched Project Hail Mary with my daughter. Absolutely loved it. Didn't know if I was going to love it once Rocky came on, but then I was like, nope, love it. Laughed, cried. I was completely engrossed in the movie. It is excellent. I think my daughter watched it twice, 2 days in a row. She may have watched it more, but didn't admit that to me. I also watched The Witch, which was a little bit nerve-wracking in the beginning. I didn't know if I was gonna like it, but I ended up really enjoying it, and I was completely spooked afterwards. That doesn't happen a whole lot, but it did. I was so jumpy the entire night after watching that. I watched Singles, which I absolutely loved. I had never seen Singles before, and it gave all the nostalgic vibes. Great music, great casting, absolutely loved it. And the final movie I'd like to talk about, even though I watched a few more, is Only Lovers Left Alive. This is a very unique twist on vampires, and I feel like I say that a lot. There are so many creative ways to present vampires to the world, and I really loved what they did here. This was not a plot-heavy movie, unless I missed something major, and I'm just not that smart, but it felt heavy on the vibes, light on the plot. I have no problem with that. I love a heavy vibe. I don't need a heavy plot. I love character development and things like that. Plot is like the cherry on top. So if it doesn't include a heavy plot, I'm fine. This was excellent. I feel like maybe the plot will feel a little more deep the next time I watch it. We'll see. But I really enjoyed it. The costuming, the hair. I loved it, okay? I loved it. So definitely recommend it. It's on Tubi currently. I don't know if they'll be taking it off soon, so don't come at me if I'm wrong and it's not there anymore. But you know how it goes with Tubi. You see something you want to watch and then they're like, oh, it's going to be gone in 5 days. Hope you have time to watch it. Now, I do need to talk about a soft DNF, Death's Own Door. I think that's what it was called. Yes, Death's Own Door. Now, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad read. I just am not in the headspace for it. And I also just feel like I cannot read it, even though it felt fine as a standalone. Once I found out that it was the 6th book in a series, I just couldn't do it. I feel like I want to read the other books first. So it's a soft DNF. Will I ever read it again? I hope so. But I'm not saying, ooh, I am hard DNFing this. I am never picking it up again. I'm getting rid of it. No, not at all. If I come across the other books in this series, perhaps I will pick them up. Like, it's got to be at the thrift store. I'm not buying them new. But, or if I just get in the mood to read it, because it did have a very interesting plot at first, but there are a lot of characters. So I felt like I could probably benefit from jumping back and learning more about the characters. Not that you have to, it's just how my brain works. So that's why I soft DNF'd that. Current reads, let's talk about the current watches first. So we are habitual rewatchers in this household. We are currently rewatching Modern Family. I'm currently in the middle of another rewatch of Gilmore Girls with my daughter. We're basically always watching Gilmore Girls. Like, we kind of start very quickly after it ends. So yeah. And then the current rewatches for myself are True Blood and Sons of Anarchy. I'm prioritizing True Blood though, because I can't remember if I finished the last season of True Blood or if I watched like half of it and didn't finish the full season. I can't remember. So I'm prioritizing that because I'm trying to get to the end. I've seen the entirety of Sons of Anarchy. I've watched it so many times and absolutely love it, but I'm prioritizing True Blood. Plus, I just finished the entirety of the collection I have of the Sookie Stackhouse books. I only have the first 9, so I need to locate the rest. But I'm still in a Sookie Stackhouse mood. I don't know, when am I not in a Sookie Stackhouse mood? I love Sookie. She's one of my favorite characters. I actually named a cat that we used to have after Sookie years ago. So I'm currently reading a beta read for an author that I absolutely love, one of my all-time favorite authors. Can't really say much about that, and wish I could have read more this month, but I failed miserably in my reading. But it's okay. We were doing things as a family, we were getting out of the house, we were enjoying the summer, so I'm forgiving myself for not reading very much this month, and I'm sure that author doesn't mind either. Not that I'm not prioritizing that read, I just didn't read as much as I wanted to. It's been a weird month. Very good, very weird, very twisty. It's strange. So I'm also currently reading Grandmother Begins the Story. After I soft DNF Death's Own Door, I had my daughter Shelby help me pick out a book from the books that I chose for this month. And she chose this one. She loves this one. I think she really loves the cover. And so I'm not very far in, but I am enjoying what I'm reading so far. I have not made a connection between the different... It really feels like a collection of short stories at this point, and I'm not sure if that's what it's supposed to feel like, but I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you when I'm done reading this. Really like the writing style, and I am enjoying it. I just need to read a little bit further to see if I can make some connections here. Up next, so what I've been doing is picking like 4 to 6 books to read or to use as my pile of possibilities for the following month. Not doing that anymore. I'm going to pick 2. Well, at least this month. You know how I change things up all the time. But I chose 1 from my shelves and 1 from the list of free classics over on Fable. If you're not on Fable, I highly recommend it. There's some great stats and things, but they also offer free ebooks of like so many classics, and you can, within that ebook, click on the link to the company, publisher, whatever that has compiled these into ebook form, and you can actually save it to your Kindle instead of having to read it on the Fable app. But I've done that with a few of them, maybe 3, I can't remember, but I'm really excited to continue rereading or reading new to me classics. So I'm really happy that they offer that, and I think that's really cool. And no, this is not sponsored. I just really love Fable. And you can also track how many days a month that you're reading and all that. I failed miserably, like I said, but it's fun to see how much I read in a typical month. And sometimes I forget to put it in, even if I do read, But hey, if you're on top of things, it's awesome. So the first book that my picker wheel picked from the shelves is The Prophet's Wife by Libby Grant. She also goes by Olivia Hawker. She wrote one of my all-time favorite books, Tidewater, and I'm really excited to read this. I bought The Prophet's Wife, I want to say like 2 years ago with some birthday money. So it's about time. It's about time. So I'm going to read a little bit from the back for you so you can get an idea of what this is about and maybe pick it up yourself. In 1827, in rural Pennsylvania, Emma Hale marries an itinerant treasure digger, a man who has nothing but a peepstone in his pocket and a conviction that he can speak directly to God. Do you know where we're going here? Do you know? His name is Joseph Smith, and in a few short years, he will found his own religion, gather zealous adherents by the tens of thousands, and fracture Emma's life and faith. Oh, man. While the Mormon Church finds its feet and runs beyond the grasp of its founder, Emma struggles to maintain her place in Joseph's heart and in the religion that has become her world. That's all I'm going to say. There's a lot more on the back, but that's enough. That's just enough of a taste to keep you wanting more, right? I'm so excited about this. And the classic that I landed on my picker wheel is The Scarlet Letter. I did read this in high school, but I am so excited to read it again. So that's what I read, what I'm reading, and what I hope to read. As a little side note, because I don't know that I feel like doing a whole separate video on this, I did do a little reset of my shelves. We are in the middle of a summer reset of our house. It kind of got put on hold because I kind of injured my knee. So we're hoping to get everything done before we start school. So when we start homeschooling again in the beginning of September, we are like in a fresh house, ready to go. And I don't have to look at all the things that need to be done. But of course, when you're an adult living in a house full of people, there's always something to do, right? The thing that really prompted this reset of my shelves was I had taken down some pictures, some paintings that my dad made to take down and hang above our fireplace. What prompted me to do that? Well, the skull pictures that we had above our fireplace turned out to be AI. And I had known for a while, but like didn't have anything really ready to replace them. So they were kind of sitting there irritating the snot out of me because I am not a fan of AI. And so I was very disappointed in myself for not realizing that when we bought it. But of course, when we bought these pictures, the AI stuff wasn't super well known and we just thought it was more digital art. And so we ended up taking it down and replacing them with paintings done by my dad. And then there's some other pictures that we replaced with paintings done by our daughter, my sister-in-law, and a wreath that my mother-in-law had crafted. And it just feels more homey, more like us, more raw, more eclectic. I am here for it. As much as I loved the vibe that those other pictures brought, once I figured out they were AI, it was over with. So apologies to anyone who saw and knew that I was hanging AI all up in my house. I mean, you could have said something. No. Anyway, that kind of prompted this whole like switching around of my shelves because it felt very empty up there. Also, I needed to dust. It was time. It was past time to dust. I tend to switch things around at least a couple times a year, and I always feel the need to do it in the summer. I don't know if it's just lack of doing school with the kids and I'm like staring at my shelves a little more. I don't know. But I decided to put all of the middle grade and children's books up top. I know, it doesn't seem to make that much sense since my kids are shorter than me, but they don't seem to want to access those books as often as the books that they have in their rooms and downstairs and all that. It's more, these are books that we read together as read alouds and things like that. So really, they don't need as much frequent access to them as I do. Plus, I sit down here on the floor and they were on these bottom shelves. And middle grade, while featured quite often on this channel, is not the focus of my channel. I focus more on the books that I'm reading myself, than the books I'm reading with my kids. So it just made more sense to bring down some more of the books that I've read to feature here. So what I've done is just kind of rearranged things, and here we are. So these shelves right here, I have some of my all-time favorite covers facing out, and I'll probably, don't hold me to it, but I'll probably switch them out quite often just to kind of feature some more indie books and just some more beautiful covers so that it feels fresh and new every once in a while. I like to do that. So that is it, I think. I don't think I have any major plans. August is a month full of birthdays. My dad's birthday is in August, as well as 3 of my kids. And so it's a very busy month in that way. And it's just the last month of summer break. We always start the day after Labor Day, or I try to, because that's how it was when I was a kid. And I want to keep it that way for my kids. We get our 180 days of schooling in, no matter what. We don't take like spring breaks and stuff. We take birthdays off, but most of the birthdays are in August. So it just makes sense for us. And so I'm really happy to have the full month of August to enjoy one last month of summer break. And then we're back to the grind and we're ringing in fall with a new school year. So really excited about that. But I did enjoy my reads. I enjoyed most of my watches, and I hope to enjoy the things that are to come. Let me know if you've read or watched anything I talked about today and your thoughts on them, and let me know what you hope to read in August. I love to hear about the things that you're getting into, and I really appreciate that you took your precious time to hang out with me. Like, that just blows my mind that anyone would want to do that, because I feel like one of the most boring people on the planet. But at least somebody wants to hear what I have to say, right? Even if it's just one person. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. And until next time, cheers.